So many of us might be trying to strengthen our abs or strengthen our core, and you walk around your gym and you just want to try to find something that can help you. Well, in this video, I'll outline the top 3 worst exercises you might be doing for your abs or your core and what to do instead. It's coming up. Starting with number 1. Very, very common exercise that my father actually taught me to use is the ab curler. And this is one that's widely used by people. Now, the reason why this one is bad is due to the lack of extension in your back. So when you're trying to target the core itself, or when you're trying to strengthen any muscle actually, you want to go through the entire system of leverage. In other words, you want to extend the joint completely if you can, obviously not overextend the joint, completely to a healthy degree, and then you want to contract it to the healthy degree. And a lot of people will not do the full extension. Now, it's really unfortunate because this ab curler machine forces you to not do the extension. It locks you in place and prevents you from completely extending your back, which ultimately in that extension phase is where you can ultimately help with your strength. So since you're not getting it, you're locking yourself into one position and you're not strengthening those muscles as well as you could if you had something like a stability ball. That is an excellent replacement for the ab curler machine. Stability ball doing either a long lever or a ball crunch is wonderful because your back can actually extend all the way, targeting those muscles way better than you could have, and targeting the stabilizing muscles that you don't get because you're also locked in a linear motion for the ab curler. But the stability ball, if you try it out, which I recommend going easy on yourself, even starting out with a Bosu ball first, because that stability ball, trying it out with that, takes a lot of stabilizing, and you're going to be exercising more than just your core, but it is an excellent target for that core. Moving on to number 2 is the Rotary Torso Machine. So what is this machine? So it's basically that one that you sit in, if you've seen it, and you have to twist your lower back, or you twist your lower half in order to target your obliques because you're trying to twist side to side. Well, while in theory this machine was a decent idea, it's quite terrible just because it targets your lower back as a means for joint rotation. And our lower back is not supposed to be twisting more than about 5 to 15 max degrees. In other words, it has way less percent rotational movement than our upper back. Our upper back was built and made for rotational movement. Our upper back is supposed to be reaching and doing the twisting and the grabbing, and it has way more of a percent angle for rotation than our lower back. Like somewhere even up to 70% rotation. Like it's much different than our lower back. Yet this rotary torso machine is pivoting us from our lower half instead of from our upper half. So, keeping that in mind, some other things that you can do instead are just simple Russian twists, standing Russian twists, side planks as well. That's a really good one because isometric exercises not only will help with your strength, but it also helps with your tendon and your ligament health. So tendon health is really important because if you're trying to focus so much on building muscles, you're not paying attention to your tendons' health, which ultimately can help prevent injury if you have healthy tendons and ligaments. So those are just some examples as well. And if you're liking this video so far, before we get into the last one, go ahead and hit the like button, or don't hit it, just gently touch it, no hitting. So I would really appreciate it, especially if you're liking this content. Thank you so much, it helps me as a creator. This last one doesn't really require a machine, and you might see a lot of people doing this, and you might see this really commonly in a lot of fitness gurus' YouTube videos. It's when you're laying down on your back and you're doing leg raises. It's supposed to be an ab exercise. Now, while you might feel it in your abs, it's not the best exercise for your abs because when you're laying down, you're really activating your hip flexors mostly. And for many of us sitting all the time, our hip flexors are chronically tight. So if you're trying to do a leg lift exercise where you're thinking you're targeting your abs, which don't get me wrong, it'll work your abs, it's just also putting a lot of strain on your hip flexors, which might already be getting too much strain, especially if you have a sitting office job or if you're primarily sitting throughout the day. Those hip flexors might already be chronically tight, and you could end up with tendonitis from exercises such as that. I know I did. So what can you do instead, especially if you love that type of leg lifting movement? Well, just simply the hanging leg lifts is a better exercise, because then you're putting less of the strain, particularly on the hip flexors, having to work against gravity, and you can target the abs instead. Just a thought, but otherwise, if you're trying to target the abs themselves, then just use the stability ball, long lever ball crunch, or a basic ball crunch. Planks as well are excellent for the core stabilizers, and Russian twists as well as ball Russian twists. So there are so many exercises if you're trying to target your core that you can do instead of lying on the floor leg lifts. And again, it's not that that exercise is bad, it's just that it's not particularly good for people that have tight hip flexors, and that's most of us. One bonus tip from something that people often don't exercise is balance training. Now, balance training specifically targets the core stabilizer muscles. I mean, if you think about it, trying to stand on one leg or even on two legs completely still, you're firing so many posture control muscles and internal muscles of your core that help keep you upright. So balance training is exceptional. I have an entire program on my website. You can check it out, and you can even sign up for a free assessment that is a completely interactive video that you can sign up for on my email list. It'll get sent straight to you. You can do it at any time, and you can just keep it forever. And it basically just takes you through a series of balancing exercises so that you can test out your balance and see what level you might be able to start with for a balance training program. It's super fun, gives you an idea of those exercises, and gives you a taste of the challenge it requires on your core and also your legs and your foot and ankles. So there you have it, the top 3 worst ab exercises or core exercises that you might be doing, and some alternatives to provide for you for your next workout routine. So check it out if you're interested. Otherwise, I got plenty more for you on my channel, health and fitness tips, and also some really fun workout videos. So check it out, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.